Tutti, good evening, y'all. It is episode number 86 of What's the Scoop? Here with my two buddies and the best co-host I could ask for. Starting with the guy right down here, Mr. Brandon Furtado. Brandon, how you doing, my guy? Love the hat.
Thank you. Big night tonight. I'm doing good, first of all. Hope you guys are. Big night stuff on here. So, what else can you say? But let's get it going. I don't even want to this hour is gonna feel like the longest hour of my life. Tonight. And usually I love doing the show, but when it comes to tonight, I almost wanted to go quick because I want to get to this game.
Yeah, no, I know. I know what you mean. It's pardon. It's definitely been as time has gone on throughout the afternoon, and it feels like time has progressed more slowly as the hours have worn by. And again, I just want Cam Schlittler to take it down early. And speaking of early, I want to get to Connelly early. Early and often. I want to see this. I love the lineup that we've put out. We're going to get to that in a minute. But I love the lineup that we've put out. I think that puts us in great position to, manage down the road as the game progresses. I think it puts Boone in a very strong position in terms of being able to situationally manage the game as time wears on and as things unfold. And of course, not to be left out, my good buddy next to me, Mr. Jay Cruger. Jay, how you doing? And who you repping, if you don't mind me asking?
It's Garrett Cole, man. I figure that if we've got, I feel like I wore it. I think I wore this. Yeah, I did wear it Saturday to the Orioles game that we won 6-1, and so I figured also with young Garrett on the mound tonight, bring us some good luck. It was either going to be this or Pettit, and I wore Pettit on night one, so I wasn't going to chance that again. So all good. I'm really stoked. I'm with Brandon on this one. I got violence on my mind, fellas. I'm ready to send these chowder suckers back to fucking New England. Excuse me.
You're fine.
Come on.
That is. Oh man, that was
7-12. It's too early for me right now, man.
I typically say you couldn't be more Philly if you lived in Philly, but that was such a Bronx Jay. You went full Bronx Jay there for about 90 seconds, and I love it. I'm so excited.
Rep BX, buddy, baby. Rep BX.
Absolutely, I'm excited to see how this unfolds. Nervous to see how this unfolds. Obviously, I've got. I know it's not a jersey, but I do have my crossover Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville, and New York Yankees shirt here as well. I don't have any jerseys down here in the SIP right now, but I do have this. So went with that, and excuse me. Again, fired up. Love that we're going to see a battle of the guys who could end up being the sort of the faces of the next generation of the rivalry. Yep. We've got two young dogs, young bulls, whatever you want to call them, going up against one another. We've got on our side, we've got Cam Schlittler, who we know was a very impressive force down in the second half. I know there was some, I don't want to disrespect the other guy, but there was some, for lack of a better word, worry that we might go Luis Gil in this situation. I know at least one of y'all mentioned that. I'm sorry, I can't remember who. May have been both for all I know. But
Brandon, I think.
Pardon?
I think it was Brandon.
Okay, but we knew they were going to Schlittler since a few didn't know, almost a week ago.
Yeah. As of a couple days ago, it became at least a couple days ago, it became apparent we were going Schlittler. Connelly early, we didn't actually find out about it until I think it was either yesterday or the night before. But quite exciting to kind of see these. I don't think if you asked anybody back in July, even after the trade deadline, hey, if there's a do or die game in October between the Yankees and the Red Sox, who do you have going for each team? If you had Connelly early, actually, if you had Cam Schlittler alone, you deserve whatever you made on that bet. If you had him and Connelly early, then you deserve about as much as you got, more than anybody
you deserve
more than anybody has bet since Leicester City won the EPL. But
Yeah, you deserve to hit on that bet as much as somebody who would be winning a bet to say that the kicker wins Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, pretty much. Real quick on kick, we've got W. Dill saying tap in, got you for life, and he's got the money eyes emoji that's not showing up because the emoji never work on this thing. But appreciate your input and support, W. Dill. Hope you're doing well, and hope your team wins tonight as long as you're rooting for the Yankees. But with that all being said,
and he's got us for life.
Yeah. We always appreciate that for sure. The support is means a lot from everybody, and let's just get right into it as we start the conversation about perhaps the most anticipated Yankees Red Sox game in, I think, years is understating it. I mean, the Red Sox, let's just be honest about it. The last 21 years, the Red Sox have eaten our lunch. The last time we advanced against the Red Sox in a playoff series, had a game where we won a do or die game against the Red Sox in a playoff series. Guess what? The guy who made it happen off of his bat is in the dugout for us tonight as the manager. It was Mr. Aaron Boone back in 2003, and he had a little bit of help from I guess what you'd call a relative of his today, in a sense, because Aaron Bleepin Boone got some words of wisdom with it for his team from Bucky Bleepin Dent today. We had some words of wisdom, words of encouragement, whatever you want to say, from Bucky Dent to the team today. I'm going to pull up the quote real quick because I want to get it accurately. But, again, we've seen teams try this, time and again. We waited to see, we've seen teams try and get whether it's every little bit of motivation. A couple of years ago when the Yankees were going up against the Sox, I'm pretty sure they rewatched the 04 series, or maybe the last game of the 04 series, something of that nature. But today it was a quote from Bucky Dent, and I'm pulling it up right now. This is courtesy of Barawang News, which I've never heard of before. Yeah, you know what? That's actually not showing up. So we're gonna go to the Nesson article real quick, and his my apologies. But it says, pressure makes legends. Yankees fans, keep the faith, and to the boys in pinstripes, step up and write your moment tonight. And, we talk about, Yankees fan, or we talk about Yankees history and the illustrious Yankees history. Well, to the 26 guys out there tonight, to the coaches tonight, and to the tens of thousands of fans who will be there, and the fans who are going to be watching it and talking about it like we are right now, this is our version of the history that we talk about for so many years. We talk with our either parents or siblings or friends, or for those who have children right now, I'll talk about Reggie Jackson, Mickey Mantle, all these things. We've got our own versions of that right now. I'm not saying that any of these guys match up per se with them, but I'm saying that our versions of that history are being written right now with the Aaron Judge, the Giancarlo Stanton, and who's to say? We don't know what's going to happen with Cam Schlittler and with Connelly early down the road. But for now, the ball is in their hands, quite literally. And so I got a question for y'all tonight. And what just happened? So to start off, my question, it's a kind of a two-part question. But basically, if the Yankees win tonight, it will be because blank. As in, fill in your X factor, but it doesn't have to be a player per se. But if the Yankees win tonight, it will be because blank. And I can already smell Jay getting ready to say because they scored more runs than the other team. I
wasn't going to say that, actually.
Okay, it felt like something that you were almost as pre-programmed to say as the decision to take out Max Fried was the other night. But with all that being said, so that, and then of course on the back half of that question, if the Yankees don't advance tonight, it will be because blank. I'll start with Jay.
If the Yankees advance tonight, it's because Boone kept his ass in the dugout when a good pitcher was shoving, and that would be Cam. I'm kidding. But no, I do think Cam Schlittler is going to be the X factor tonight. I thought what you were going to say is predict the final stat line, and I feel like, and I'm starting to feel, and this is a really foolhardy prediction, I'm predicting 7 innings out of Cam Schlittler. Now,
that's bold for a do or die game.
Yeah, 4 strikeouts, I would say, and maybe 2 runs. But I think Boone settles in and manages with the numbers, but also with his eyes. I think he
should.
Yeah, a little bit more trust. Scoop, you were talking about a little bit earlier about the addition of Ahmed Rosario in this lineup.
Yes, I was.
Known as a lefty killer, I think he is also going to be not the X factor, but I think he's going to be a silent factor, and I think he is actually probably going to be instrumental producing us some runs in this game. Obviously, the nitty gritty of it, defense. I think we got a lot of good Sans Rosario good defense, especially on the infield. And I think the defense from yesterday, they learned from game one. They're keeping it together. So if we win, it's because of pitching defense and taking advantage of Connelly early from an early stage. No pun intended.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not make that punt, even if it's not intended. Of course, with me it usually is, but I think you made a lot of solid points there, and I'm gonna get to the lineup next once we hear from Brandon. Brandon, same questions I asked.
Yeah, and by the way, once you guys go in your rounds, I actually have a question to throw out.
Oh, geez.
Cool.
Yeah. It's family friendly.
I mean, you already dropped an F-bomb on this show. We didn't even make it 10 minutes, so.
Brandon, I think that was a record for the quickest time Jay's dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah, no, was it?
I thought that was the slowest.
Well, we got to go back and watch the tape. We got to go like this.
Tape.
We got to put the replay. The replay.
That was great.
On. But so if we win tonight, I'll give you two answers as to why we win tonight.
Looking forward to it.
Win tonight. The first one is going to sound obvious, but I think it needs to happen because the first two games has been a no-show at the plate. Giancarlo Stanton. We need that because the thing is, the first two games were close. If he just came through a little more in either one of those games, we're not talking about game 3. So tonight, playoff, postseason Stanton, whatever you want to call him, has to show up. I feel like in order for them to maybe not just win, but pull away with this game early. Pun intended. But I think the other reason why they win, and it's kind of tough for me to think about it because I think Stanton is the big reason why. Mm-hmm. But the other reason why we win, I guess, plain and simple, is just score. I think it kind of goes with the Stanton thing. Just score with runners in scoring position. Don't hunt the home run. Don't. Just put the ball in play with runners in scoring position because you'll never know what will happen. I just need them to have a basic approach, put the ball in play. And if you do that, good things will happen. So that's one. So if we lose, I think it'll be because I like the lineups. I'm not worried about early pitching against them. I think that if we lose, it'll be because Schlittler is rattled early. And I'm not saying rattled isn't he gives up like a run and then like whatever. If he gives up like 3-4 in the first 2 innings, then we got a problem. So I think he's got to be dialed in, which I think he is. Because we've seen him this whole year being like a stone cold killer on that mound. So I don't think it's going to get to him, but you never know with a rookie pitcher. So I think that's the thing. Is like it's important. But if they lose, I think it's because he'll get rattled early. So, pun intended. But I think that's kind of the keys here.
That's great. And I kind of have my answer was kind of it's not the same as that, but it kind of is tangential to that. Wherein I think if we win, I think it's going to be because Schlittler goes, does what we need him to do. He doesn't have to go out there and be, Garrett Cole himself. I'd love it if he did, but he doesn't have to do that. Give me, I'm okay if you give up the third run or whatever. Just get me through 6 to 7 innings.
That's what it is.
Get me through 6 to 7 because I trust the ball. I may be alone on this first part. I trust the ball in Devin Williams' hands in the 8th, and I trust him turning it over to Bednar in the 9th.
I do too.
What I don't trust is the more outs we have to get. They always say, how are you getting 27 outs, basically, and don't give them more than 27 outs.
Yep.
That's what they talk about. I don't trust us if Schlittler can only get us, let's say, 15 or 16 outs, or fewer than that. I don't trust us getting through to the 21st out, patchworking more than one guy at a time.
Yeah.
Because typically, the more guys it's cooks in the kitchen type thing. Typically, the more guys you try and put in at once. I know people love the bullpen game, and I see some advantages to it. But with the bullpen that the Yankees have had, the more cooks in the kitchen you add to this game, the more volatility.
The more things will go wrong.
Yeah, the more volatility there is, and the more vulnerabilities you open up for somebody to bleep it up. So that's my thing. Is you have to use as few pitchers as possible. Is basically what it comes down to for me.
Yeah.
And if I on the flip side of that, I think that if it comes down to us, if for whatever reason we don't win, I think it's going to come down to it. I still would say the bullpen, but I think it's going to come down to one of the guys that we expect to have it not having it. And so I'm talking about like not a Weaver. I'm talking about like a Bednar, a Hill, somebody like that. And I'll say this: if you need him tomorrow, if you need him tonight, rather, you throw Max Fried, you throw Luis Hill. Hill's not on the roster. But you throw Max Fried, you throw Rodon, you in order to get to the next game, you have to win this game. There is
Hill's not on the roster.
No, because
it's a short series.
When he pitched, he was going to be on short rest, so they didn't even bother wasting a spot on him. Which I love Heel, but that was the right move in my opinion. But everybody is available tonight.
Yep.
Everybody's available tonight, unless you literally cannot walk. You are available tonight, and I don't like using this phrase because I feel like it gets so overused that it's become cliche at this point. It's become worn out at this point. But you need to manage with the most urgency you've ever managed with since 2018 when you got this contract.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You have to treat
this is his career night too. This is his career night because if we get bounced.
Well, I was just gonna say, because if you lose tonight, if you lose this game tonight, you not only didn't make it as far as you did last year, and again, I know this team lost Soto, I know this team lost Cole, but you know what? I don't give a damn. Because this team is still good enough to win the American League. I don't know about the World Series. This team's still good enough to win the American League.
Yep.
Especially now that Houston has become gimpy, didn't even make the playoffs this year. Detroit and Cleveland are kind of eating up on each other. And quite frankly, Boston, I think right now, is a bigger thing standing in our way than either team we could face in the ALDS. I may eat my words on that, but I believe that as of right now. So if you don't win this game tonight, you extend the number of seasons since the Yankees have been able to put down their biggest rival in a postseason series. You extend the World Series draft. You don't get back as far as you got last year. And now you've made it I think this would be his 8th season without a ring. And again, I don't fault him for several seasons that we didn't end up with a ring because there were injuries. There was one thing or another. But here's the problem, is that even if I don't think you're at fault, especially when people think you got outmanaged by Alex Cora in Game 1, and whether you agree with it or not, that's the perception. And unfortunately, New York has largely run on perception rather than fact. Yeah. And with that all being said, so if you go down tonight against the Red Sox, if you go out tonight in your home stadium, and if you go down tonight, in a situation where, this looks like the most Aaron Boone controlled lineup I've seen, then that might be the worst loss that would have happened since the Houston series a few years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then I'm sorry. There could be something to hold on to for Boone if it gets to the deep into the ALCS or whatever the case may be. You have nothing to hold on to if you lose this series tonight against Boston in your home territory, and excuse me, with all your guys healthy, save for Cole, who hasn't been healthy all season. So manage your. I'm gonna say it. I try to be relatively, but manage your damn balls off, Aaron Judge. I'm sorry, Aaron Boone, because this may be your last game in New York if you don't, or if we don't get the results. I'm a big fan of Aaron Boone. I've believed in him. I've stood by him a lot of times when a lot of fans didn't, and we all know that. But at the end of the day, this is a results city. This is a results franchise, and this is a results game.
And this would be a new low for him if they don't get past.
This would be a new low for him and a new low for this team. 22 years it would be then. Yep. 22 years that you're the team that you had a hex on for almost 9 decades, where they couldn't come back and win, would now have eaten your lunch again in the postseason and be right in a position to have a strong line to win their 5th ring in the last 22 years, when you've won 1. And you run a bigger payroll than them pretty much every single year.
Yep.
So figure it out. And excuse me, I'll quote his own words. I feel bad for you, but you can get better. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And we got some comments coming in, and Nikki says, "Hello, Swifties Scoops. It's a big night for us Swifties and Yankees fans." Nikki, the release of The Life of a Showgirl at 11 o'clock might as well be a year away at this point for me, with the way that this evening's going to go. But appreciate you coming in. I'm looking forward to being involved with y'all later tonight. The Carson Shear Show. Carson's sending me. I don't honestly know what animal that is. Oh, I think that's a tiger. That would make sense. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Congrats, Carson on the big win for you guys tonight. Honestly, didn't think it was going to happen. Kenny says.
Kenny redid his comment. So wait, go to the newest one.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's up, fellas? Thoughts on lineup tonight? I would have found a spot for Goldschmidt in the lineup. Other than that, it looks good. Here's the thing: if I'm going to be disappointed about somebody being left out, if I'm going to question somebody being left out, Goldschmidt is the one I'd rather question being left out, because you're not taking Rice out of the lineup. You're just not. Nope. And I'm not letting my season go down with him behind the plate. If he's in my lineup, he's going to be at first base. And if I'm going to and that means if I'm going to keep Stanton in my lineup because Stanton can't move, then then he has to be at DH. And excuse me. So automatically that pretty much decides four positions, because right field we got Judge, Stanton is DH, Rice is first, and Wells is behind the plate, because no matter what people say about Wells this year, I trust him behind the plate more than I trust Ben Rice, and that is what I can deal with it at second. I can deal with it at third. I am not punting on a single inning of defense at catcher. I don't care.
And on top of that, you're not going to take it. You're also not going to put Rice behind the plate when Wells had the game-winning hit last night, too.
And not only that, well, I'm with Scoop on that. Objectively speaking, if you're listen, the Sox are always a threat to steal.
Yeah.
So having the experienced catcher, not to say that Ben Rice isn't experienced, but having the more reliable catcher there, that's just smart managing. That's smart managing.
Yeah. I really like this lineup today. Again, I have never been wild about starting Rosario at third, just because with the ground ball pitchers we have, I don't love the idea of starting anybody that I just don't trust their defense at all. But again, they're clearly going with an approach of get as many runs early as we can, and then we can turn it over to defense at any time. To have Caballero available on your bench, McMahon available on your bench, Goldschmidt available on your bench. Yeah. I'll say this, for a Yankees team that we always say doesn't have enough depth, I love our bench tonight.
These are good problems to have.
Yeah, these are good problems to have, and that's another thing. I think if we advance tonight, it's because we used our bench effectively, and I'll say it again, urgently. And Kenny says, by the way, Scoops, he mentioned me filling in on K&K and Giants Football Talk. Appreciate that you had me on both shows, Kenny. Probably one of the few times in history that an Eagles fan's been on a Giant show. But I appreciate that we made it happen. It was a good time. And Tech 8 says, go Yankees. Good to see you, Tech 8. Appreciate you tuning in on YouTube. And yes, go Yanks. So I said that I was going to ask a question about the lineup, but we kind of just already covered that. So Jay, you said you had a question. I'll let you jump right in.
Yeah, and I didn't also say what would lose us this game, but I think we also covered that, and that is if we have to go into the bullpen too early, or if Aaron Boone overmanages the bullpen, because the one thing that I will not let him skate on, and I've been a very pro Boone guy this year, one thing I won't let him skate on from the playoffs last year and really and truthfully since 2020 is poor bullpen management. I don't want in this game to see Luke Weaver or Camilo Duvall holding a ball.
That's the one in particular. I have a little more leeway with Luke Weaver just because I know he's been poor the last couple of weeks, but he's just got so much built up for me from not only previous years, but he has pitched very well for a good chunk of this year. I think fans, fans have had a little bit of an amnesia to that because the last couple of weeks have sucked so bad. But if I had to choose, I'm picking Weaver over Duvall. But like you said, like those are my last two guys. Those are like I'm looking at them almost no differently than I'm looking at a position player pitching tonight. And that's basically like if they're literally the only two guys left available to get me through from 8th and 9th inning. And ideally that would be because we have such a lead that we just need to put people out there that we don't want to get hurt before the next two series.
I don't need them holding a ball that's not already attached to their body. And of course I mean ball and joint. I mean ball and joint. What are you thinking about?
Yeah.
But
I already know you too well enough to know that.
Yeah.
What? All right. And
Jay says Jay says the FCC is after me.
Real
quick,
the NAACP is after you.
You also said the FCC. Pretty much any acronym you could think of. Kenny says Goldschmidt has so much experience, though. I think it's a big waste having him on the bench. Goldschmidt, DH, bench Stanton. I'm sorry. Bench Stanton is a wild take there. Because yes, he's struggled the last two games, but you go back 6 years, this guy almost seemingly every October is our most reliable postseason hitter, or at least one of the top two.
Isn't it like statistically he's one of the greatest actually postseason hitters ever?
Yeah. I'm never benching Judge, but this is what I'm saying. I'm benching Judge before I'm benching Stanton. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. He is probably the one guy that, even though I don't like that we're clogging up a DH spot with the same guy every night, he's one of the few guys that I'm still not taking out of the lineup, even if it limits my flexibility there. Yeah. Scoops, every time I call him out, he proves me wrong. Well, I hope he does it again tonight, because that was a take that Mississippi's already hot as heck, but I think you may have just caused a wildfire down here.
You know what else you could say too, and based off the first two games, you can say he's due.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Last week people were saying he was cold, and then what did he do? He went on a rookie Jesus Montero first month tear for about 5 games there.
Mm-hmm.
That take was so hot it made Pompeii look like a ski trip. Okay. You know what? I'm hoping that's the reverse jinx that we did.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping so too.
I might need to take a walk.
Just be careful what you come back with. This is a family show.
Okay. But all right. So, you read more of them, or do you?
No. I think that was everybody.
Okay. So the question I was going to have was, we were talking earlier, Bucky Bleepin' Dent, Aaron Bleepin' Boone. If there is a character that we affix that middle name to, this series, and it can't be a pitcher. Unless the pitcher comes up to bat.
Yeah. Okay.
Who do you think that would most like? Who is your most likely unlikely hero?
Most likely unlikely. I mean, I have an obvious answer, but I'll wait for Brandon to go first.
I mean, listen. I mean, all these guys can do damage. I mean, Wells got a big hit last night. Volpe's been a postseason killer since last year. His BP was he scored the only run of our game in game one. Ben Rice was huge last night. Stanton is all these guys are pretty obvious. Bellinger with all those years of experience and then being an MVP caliber player. Judge being Judge. And Grisham being a smooth center fielder. But I mean, to me, I guess with all the controversy I think surrounding him lately, I'm gonna say it's Jazz Bleeping Chisholm.
I like it.
Because
I like it.
No one's had a bigger target on his back at the start of this series in terms of just the controversy of him not playing game one. Like him and Rice, but more so him because of just his personality too, factoring into this. And then obviously the little dust up with the media afterwards. And then last night being a big part of the reason why they won, scoring the game winning run and saving multiple runs with that diving play at second. So last night you could.
It wasn't an out either.
No, it wasn't. But he full on Superman dove to stop that ball. Like if he doesn't get to that, we're not talking about game 3 tonight. So last night already gives Red Sox fans some bad they're not memories yet. It's only been a day, but the bad 24 hours for Red Sox fans because of Jazz Chisholm. So if anybody's going to beat them again tonight and give the Red Sox fans the reason to say, blank, bleep, and blank, it's going to be Jazz, bleep, and Chisholm.
I like it. And I'm going to go with – so, Jay, how did you phrase the question? The most obvious, not obvious? Like, how did you phrase that?
The most likely unlikely hero.
Most likely unlikely hero. So
like akin to Bussy Dent or Aaron Boone in either series.
So I don't know if this would. I was going to say Volpe, but Brandon kind of alluded to him. But my first answer was going to be Anthony Volpe, just because again, people I think wrote him off this year because again we were all hearing about everything, and I think people wrote him off not just for this season but like entirely. And then of course he comes up with our only run on Tuesday, and I'm not gonna go back and kind of reiterate all the stats, as this may be the most long-winded bot I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it's a bot. Oh jeez, I wouldn't even read that. It takes so long.
Oh, I'm not reading it. I just can't get it to block for some reason. There we go. You're out of here. But anyway, so going back to the question, can you all still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure because I got an error message. Okay, going back to answering the question now. There's somebody who gets a ton of criticism from fans as recently as this week, even though this guy this week is 4 for 8. He's got an RBI. He's only struck out twice. Last year he had a 344 OBP in 64 plate appearances, had an OPS over 750. Didn't strike out nearly as much nearly as high of a rate as he had in previous postseasons. I think sometimes, and we basically were still talking about, or we weren't, but fans this week were still basically talking about him as if he was the guy he was back in 2022 in the postseason. And I heard Kurt drag this guy last night for his postseason lack of performance. I think it's become unfair. It's kind of, and I think that today is a great opportunity for him to go out there. And if you can do it, we know this. If you can do it in the big game, if you can do it against Boston, this guy has 4 do or die postseason home runs, and it is tied for the most in Major League history. Aaron Bleepin Judge is going to make a new level of his name tonight. And I think even though the MVP has already been voted for, I think he's going to show why he deserves to be the MVP in tonight's game. He may not do it with a homer like he usually does. It may be with something less sexy. We saw him poke one up the middle yesterday, but give me Aaron Judge to make a new level of a name for himself tonight and really cement himself as an all-time Yankee. And then we'll get Brandon's answer when he's done dealing with his dog. And then we had real quick to get through some comments while he's doing that. Dennis Meltzer says, only chance Yanks have is if they keep stealing signs as bad as the Astros with how they are cheating.
Is everybody okay?
So
what's kind of funny is if you look at his profile picture, he kind of looks like Kurt. Kurt, is this your blue your burner account or something? It looks like Kurt. Like look in. Have you ever seen those two people at the same place at the same time?
But you know what's funny though, that they broke this down, and every ESPN MLB analyst, everybody on MLB Network has broken this down. What the Yankees doing is not cheating the game. They're not stealing signs. What they're doing is actually completely legal.
Yeah,
and it's
not using technology.
It's
close to similar.
It is the example of what has been when people said back in 2017 that this has been done for decades. This is what has been done for decades. Not setting up cameras, camera, trash can, whatever other crap you're using to not this whole there's a difference between relaying signs to the dugout or relaying signs to someone else. That is gamesmanship. That is what has been done for decades.
And by the way, why didn't we do that in Game 1?
Yeah.
If we were why didn't we do it in Game 1?
And most of the time when we do it, because we don't do it every game like people are starting to think that we do it because the pitcher is tipping his pitches.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the pitcher's fault. What are we supposed to do? Not take advantage of it? We're trying to win a ball game.
Yeah, exactly. No. Like you mean to tell me that if for whatever reason, why was I going to say Hiroki Kuroda for a second? If let's say Luis Gil is out there and he's ducking around with he's either he's got a tell on his arm or his cap or whatever. You think the Red Sox are not going to take advantage of it? The Red Sox are the team that took advantage of the Michael Pineda debacle however many years ago.
Not only that, in the postseason they took advantage of Luis Severino tipping his pitches.
Yep.
I knew there was another situation I was forgetting.
Like that was the 16-1 is why I will never forgive.
I was at that damn game.
Yeah,
I was at that game, and I
it was raining too. Ugh. Oh, bad memories.
I hope this was, and that's another reason why I need to win tonight because I hope this is the last time I ever have to think about that damn game again. Kenny says, "Boxer, a good thing means the show is getting a good number of views." Goldschmidt is going to be my unlikely hero tonight, Jay, because he isn't starting. We'll have a huge pinch hit tonight. Go Yankees! I love that, Kenny.
I like that idea.
I like that. I actually like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And you're talking about guys who are not in the starting lineup. I think it's I'm not going to keep adding these guys in my answers. I've already given my answers, but I think it's entirely possible that Caballero or McMahon, McMahon comes in, has a big defensive play in the game to maybe kill a rally.
Well, wouldn't it be crazy if it's McMahon, number 19?
I would love that because if you had told me back in July that the guy that we got that was not a pitcher who was starting in the do or die lineup against the Red Sox was going to be Ahmed Rosario, I would have thought you hit your head more times than Tua Tagovailoa.
But
he was actually going to be my choice for.
But Jay, I love where you were going, Jay. I love.
Yeah, number 19, McMahon. Boone was number 19 when he hit the walk-off.
And the third baseman.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about. And the third baseman. I didn't even think about that. That's a great point.
That's an even better story than Rosario.
Yeah.
It might be, bros. It might be because he's not.
But also that you've got. I mean, Boston. How do we always say Boston beats us? With their small ball and their base to base or whatever. Yeah. Caballero. I mean. What a way to etch your name in Yankee lore. You were like the last guy that we traded for at the deadline. And, people have said all season, we should be starting him over Volpe. That shortstop suddenly becomes very interesting, I think, if Caballero comes in tonight and does a major thing.
You know what I'm thinking too? Remember, fun would it be also if it was reversed between Yankees and Red Sox? Remember when Dave Roberts stole the base on the against the Yankees.
Yep.
Remember that? Remember that was because that was 04, wasn't it?
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't remember that. I was
so
lucky you.
And everybody said that stolen base is basically what changed everything.
Yeah,
more or less.
It is.
So how fun would it be if it was Caballero's turn tonight to do that,
bro?
To do the same exact thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, we all know as long as they're wearing, the blue and white pinstripes, we'll take anybody having the big moment.
Yeah.
But we all know that there's a pecking order of guys where it's like we know that they need this, or what a great story would be type of thing. And now I'm really rooting for that McMahon thing with the things that you guys just brought up, or particularly with especially what Jay brought up. Scoops knows this, but Brandon and Jay don't. Goldschmidt is one of my favorite players in baseball from his back day. Okay, so his days in Arizona. Which makes sense.
I keep saying it wasn't just St. Louis.
No, yeah, I still think he spent most of his time with Arizona, but other than
so too.
Also, as long as we're talking about
most of his career in Arizona.
Yeah. Now, as long as we're talking about postseason, real quick, I just want to mention this very quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it was a piece of news that I don't know if y'all saw it, but it happened this week. When we did our Yankees Mount Rushmores or our top Yankees lists, several weeks ago or whatever, and we talked about postseason guys. A lot of us mentioned whether we put them in the actual list or not, or at least just mention them in conversation. A lot of us went with Masahiro Tanaka, and over in Nippon this week, he reached 200 wins as a pitcher. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. We all miss Makun over here in New York, I say over here in New York as I'm down in Mississippi, but I just wanted to mention that as well, because he's still shoving over there in Japan, and he became the fourth pitcher to hit that mark in a year that combined, or in a career rather, that combined between Japan and U.S. So just massive tip of the cap to him, because still one of my favorite Yankees ever.
And one of the postseason pitchers we've ever had.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Always in the circle of trust for me.
And I will always miss. I mean, I know Coney says it for a lot of pitchers, but I love when Coney used to say, Tanaka-san, toeing the slab in the. So, that's.
I don't know why, but I had forgotten about that somehow.
Yeah. So, I love it.
Yeah, that's really.
I miss Tank so much.
I do too.
I don't think we lose the wild card game in 2021 if Tank can come on in relief either.
Yeah. Yep.
I think we take at least one from Houston in 2022.
Yep.
I mean, that would have been nice, because I was at Game 4. It would have been nice to not be there and watch them get freaking swept.
Yeah, that's never ideal.
Yeah. I also want to. Can you all still hear me? Because my computer is bugging out yet again.
Yeah. Mine is kind of glitching too a little bit here and there.
Yeah, every now and again we get a glitch, but I just like.
Okay. I do want to pay a mention to somebody as well. Unfortunately, did have the news today that a longtime guy who was pivotal to the 90s dynasty, to say the least, to the core four, the scout who pushed the Yankees, according to CBS Sports, pushed the Yankees to draft Derek Jeter and predicted his Hall of Fame career, Mr. Dick Groch, unfortunately passed away today at the age of 84. So don't just go out there and do this for Bucky Dent. Do this for Dick Groch, because we know that that 90s dynasty, we've heard plenty of people talk from it about this current team, its current structure, top to bottom. And of course, we've had guys like I think Jorge Posada was one of them. I think Mark Teixeira was also one of them who spoke out this year. But rest in peace to Dick Groch, and definitely grateful to him for what he did in New York, and also shout out to him for what he did in Milwaukee, because he was definitely there for a long period of time as well, and that deserves just as much recognition as well. Kenny says, I need to know everyone's favorite current Yankee and former Yankee, favorite Goldschmidt, former Paul O'Neill. I'm going to go last on this one, because I think my answer is going to surprise some of y'all. So I'm going to start. What order have I been going? I don't even know. My hand's pointing to Jay, so I'll go with Jay first.
All right, yeah. So current Yankee, he's on the IL obviously right now, but it's always Garrett Cole for me.
Okay. Nice.
The former Yankees are a little tougher to say because I always break them up in either in like the childhood and then modern day, like recently, but formerly recently, and that's a tie between Andy Pettit and CC Sabathia.
Makes sense.
So that's I don't mean to punt on a tie, but if I have to choose one over the other, it's probably Andy Pettit because he was my favorite Yankee growing up. Resemblance wise, a little bit. He also sort of looked like my dad in his younger days. So I'm pretty sure I sat in front of a Yankee game when I was like 5 when I started paying attention while my dad was on shift, and I was like, "Huh, I thought Dad was a cop." But thankfully, my brain had developed a lot faster than to going home every night thinking that my dad was cosplaying as a New York Yankee. But yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, and also Pettit was instrumental in getting Cole over to the team. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and that's one thing I love about the team is how like former players stay as like ambassadors, for lack of a better word, to help even the guys who aren't brought on as like special assistant to the GM, yada yada yada. There's the team still has a lot of its former players who love to help its current team improve and succeed, which I love to see that as well. Kenny says, "Guess Jay, Andy, favorite Yankee pitcher of all time."
Kenny's got some good takes tonight, man.
Yeah, he's really coming through after the. I'll just say he had a bit of a blip on the radar with that. He had
but it was awesome because it's like the reverse. He's doing the reverse jinx thing. Knock on wood.
Yeah, exactly.
So he hasn't missed. He hasn't missed tonight.
That's a great point. And Brandon, go ahead with your two. Your favorite current Yankee and favorite all-timer Yankee.
I mean, current. When it comes to current is just everybody's gonna say Aaron Judge, and I think we all can say Aaron Judge, but and also the continuing the legacy of being a captain, and I mean honestly, if the Yankees didn't have Aaron Judge, they wouldn't be a postseason team. We all know that.
Yeah, that's what the argument that I make when people say, "Oh, he struggles in the postseason." The Yankees are not a postseason team without Aaron Judge. Anyway, go on.
So, you know what? I'm not gonna say current in terms of like the current, like the last 10 years still playing. I'm gonna say current as in this year's team, and I'm gonna say currently for me because it was the guy I wanted in the offseason. Actually, well, there's two guys I wanted in the offseason, but I'm going to say it was the guy I was pounding the table for in the offseason, probably the hardest. And right now, I'm going to say Cody Bellinger. So, because, I mean, without him, everybody's like, oh, well, the Yankees don't have Soto now. What's the move? Cody Bellinger was the move. So Cody Bellinger,
and he can actually play in the field.
Yeah, and Cody Bellinger,
and yeah, you know who also doesn't have Soto right now? The postseason.
and not just that, but
for the people in the back in Queens.
But Belly can play 4 different positions, and most importantly, all 3 outfield positions. And on top of that, he probably, I would think at this point, he's a Gold Glove winner in left field.
Yeah.
So
it's in the Yankee Stadium left field, which is no easy feat.
Which is not easy with the kind of the way the wall is and how quick it comes up on you. Yeah, no, and how deadly the gaps are, like the left center gap. It's no joke. But it's not just that. It's the fact. I mean, listen, he just missed the mark, but he's a 30 and 100 guy. He bats, he'll always be a 270, 280 guy, but that OPS will always be somewhere in the high 800s. He's going to show up every night. I mean, listen, and if anybody got Yankee ties, it's him. His father was a Yankee.
Yep, Clay Bellinger. Shout out.
So I think that, just currently on this current team, 2025, it's Cody Bellinger because for me, it'd be Judge overall. But I think former, growing up, I mean, like I said, I could pick a captain again. I could pick Derek Jeter because I grew up loving watching. We all did grew up watching Derek Jeter play, but for me, I think former is just tough because there were so many guys I loved growing up. There were so many. So, I mean, I could go down a whole list. But I think for me, if I'm gonna say former Yankee,
Yes.
oh man, you know what? I'm gonna go with an unsung hero because of not just his play on the field and him kind of being remembered as a Yankee for most of his career, even though he played for about I think 3 or 4 other teams, but also the love he had for the fans. Actually, I'll give you 2 former Yankees because they both play on the same '09 team. I'm gonna say Nick Swisher.
Yeah.
And I'm also gonna say, we talk about CC being a team leader, but without being a captain. I'm gonna go with another guy who they called the heart and soul of the Yankees, and that's Brett Gardner.
Oh, I don't know how I didn't pick that up when you said that.
Brett Gardner. Brett Gardner. People don't realize, until he was gone, just how good he was for the Yankees. Always he maintained his speed throughout his whole career. He, towards the end of his career, he set career highs in home runs, I think, in RBIs in one season for himself. And a part of the '09 team. He was still young at that time, but still had an impact. And I mean, and at the very end of his Yankees tenure, he's the one that helped transition from the old guard. Yeah, I knew. I saw Kenny say that.
Dear God.
He's one of the guys, along with CeCe, that helped transition the old guard of the Yankees into what they are now with Judge and the current regime. So it was kind of the passing of the torch, so to speak. So I think that's the best way I can sum it up. I could pick so many guys, but those are the guys that matter to me.
I love that. And actually, real quick, I want to mention this because you were talking about Cody Bellinger and then mentioned Clay Bellinger right as we were talking about Aaron Judge. Like those three all kind of ended up together. Another thing that all ties them together, Clay Bellinger wore number 35, and we know he's wearing 35 now. But when a certain guy first came to the Yankees, he wanted number 35 as his number, couldn't take it because Michael Pineda was wearing it at the time. That guy is now wearing number 99. Aaron Judge, at his first time of being promoted, wanted number 35. Just a little fun piece of history I thought I'd include there.
And it looks so much better on him than 35.
Yeah, it does. The 99 looks better on him.
Well, yeah, I excuse me, sorry. Because typically they'll give the highest numbers to the guys who they think are least likely to make the team. I think. Right. I don't know if anybody other than God could have seen, what was going to become of Aaron Judge. I remember Aaron Judge coming up, and what we're afraid of Spencer Jones turning into is what I thought Aaron Judge was going to be.
Yeah,
I remember when he came up with Tyler Austin and who was it? Was it Greg Bird? I think those were the three that came up in 16.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember. I'm pretty sure Aaron Judge was the one I was least excited about.
We were more excited about Greg Bird.
Yeah,
he was the one I knew the least about coming up.
Yeah, well, but to go into my answers, and I can't go into my answer without addressing this comment from Kenny. Scoops better not say Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for former Yankee LMAO. So I'm not going to say Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for former Yankee. Now, if we're going to go like all-time legends, then I got to go with my favorite guy from the core four, which was Mariano Rivera. The back, his background of how he got into pitching or how he got into baseball in Panama, the way he started out and then became a pitcher later. All of that, the backstory there, the interviews he gives about how he threw the cutter and basically doesn't say, he says, I didn't learn the cutter. The Lord gave it to me. I couldn't have more respect for his path, the way he held himself. It's so easy when players become as great as they are, to develop, a little bit of an ego, a little bit of a hubris, a little bit of a, an arrogance or cockiness about him. I think we would even agree that Derek Jeter had that at one point. Certainly A-Rod had that at one point. You would never see that from Mariano Rivera. And just what he was able to do there, again, in history. I mean, again, we say it all the time, but I'll say it again. Not just in baseball, but in sports, you knew what the guy was going to be doing for 20 years. And there's more people who have walked on the moon than have scored on him in October.
Yep.
One of my favorite stats ever. So in terms of legends, I got to go with him. I'm not gonna go with IKF, but I'm gonna go with somebody who may be considered a similar archetype to IKF. So he came over, and I was really ecstatic about him when he first came over. Not a lot of people had heard of him. He played for I think it was 2 of 3 teams. It was some combination of Arizona, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. I think one of them is not on the list. I just can't remember which one. But he came over. He was kind of in the neutral zone of the Yankees, where we had lost all the core 4, but we weren't in this current Aaron Judge-esque area yet. But man, talk about a guy who showed up to consistently perform better than Yankees fans expected him to. Defensively, in the middle infield, you couldn't have asked for more from him. And let's be honest, every single one of us misses his tweets. And, I think his loss would have hurt a lot more had we not gotten Garrett Cole the same day that he left for Philadelphia. Give me my guy, Didi Gregorius. Sir Didi Gregorius. I got to consider him my favorite former Yankee. Very close with Masahiro Tanaka. Favorite current Yankee, and this is, I think, going to surprise some people. He's not actually on the active roster right now. Unfortunately, he's been out, and he's been out for a while. But you talk about being a Yankee. You talk about playing your heart out, which is part of the reason why he's not available right now. You talk about somebody who he plays with such a smile on his face. He plays the game. He plays the game like a little kid, but plays it also with such a Yankee professionalism that George Steinbrenner would sit up in his grave and applaud every time he plays. This is the guy. He's probably one of the least statistically exciting Yankees to put. But I can't think of somebody on the Yankees right now who, other than Giancarlo maybe, who more embodies what it means to be a Yankee and wear the pinstripes. Give me Mr. Oswaldo Cabrera and get well soon, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Not to take us too far off topic, but Chicago and San Diego are in the top of the 9th, and they're making it look interesting.
Yeah, there's a game now. Yep.
What's the current score? I honestly don't remember what the score was.
It was North Side 3, San Diego 1.
North Side 3, San Diego 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I would turn on the game right now, but it's 7:06 Central Time, which means that New York is about to go on. So I'm gonna find the remote real quick. Oh, it's right here. And we'll see how we go here. And real quick, I'll get to some of the last comments. 99 will definitely stand out in the future when his number and retired in then Monument Park. Yeah, I definitely think we retired too many numbers, but 99 is if there's a number that deserves to be retired, not just now, but in recent memory, it's Aaron Judge. And I think that there's a very strong argument coming up soon for Giancarlo Stanton as well. Because he's actually getting to a point where he's going to be having played longer for New York than he had for Miami. Even though he missed so many games, his numbers are still going to eclipse. Great answers, fellas. Enjoy the game. Let's talk about Toronto next week instead of who needs to stay and go in the offseason. Go Yankees. Couldn't have said it better, Kenny. Enjoy the weekend. And thanks again for 2 great shows this week. And then, of course, tuning in here on what's always a busy night for you. Thanks for a great week of this. And we'll talk after the game tonight. Like you said, hopefully about Toronto instead of what we've been doing for the last and Jody. They talk about, remember with guys like Manny Ramirez, they'll talk about Manny being Manny. Well, here we've got Jody being Jody. And says, when Chapman closed game 1, what were thoughts? I can't say my thoughts on air, but in a more sort of balanced and nuanced way, I'll basically just say that it's inexcusable and unacceptable. If you're going to be able to get bases loaded with no outs, it's inexcusable to me. It's inexcusable to me to not be able to get home one run. It is inexcusable to me to not. You could have grounded into a double play and still gotten home a run. So I mean, I hate Aroldis Chapman for very obvious reasons on and off the field, but I was far more upset at our own team than I was at Aroldis Chapman. Okay, it's just gone final.
That'll be all she wrote in Chicago. Well, for San Diego in Chicago.
And once again, the Padres underperform playoff expectations. It's just become an annual thing at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Jazz Chisholm's got the turtleneck on.
Oh. Yep. Well, we're coming to first pitch.
So the next round will be the Craig Council series between the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. And for those who missed it earlier, I know neither of y'all did, but for those who missed it earlier, the Detroit Tigers advanced against the Cleveland Guardians. Advanced against the Cleveland Guardians, and means they're going to go on and face the Seattle Mariners next round. The winner of this game, goes on and will face the winner of the Blue Jays series, which of course is the Blue Jays. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And the ALDS will start on Saturday, with the only thing determined obviously to be this team tonight. Excuse me. My computer is frozen again. Real quick, kind of an underrated piece of Yankees news, but I do want to mention it. So there's a Frontier League and independent team called the New York Boulders, and the co-founder and president of that team, Sean Riley, was installed as the new president and general manager of the Yankees AAA farm team, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. So just want to mention that as well. He was one of the guys who literally got the New York Boulders up and running back in 2011. So I wanted to mention that. Kenny says Jody Chapman is actually a good pitcher when teams are banging drums and sitting Giona. I don't know what that was supposed to be. Sitting on a 100-mile fastball. There we go. I will say this: hat tip to him. No pun intended with hat tip, but I will say the hat tip to him. The fact that because I really thought he was going to age very poorly because again he was relying purely on velo when it was becoming less and less rare to have triple digit velo. But he basically kind of reworked himself as a pitcher just enough to have a career renaissance at 37. So respect to him for that. And here we go. We've got Jaron.
That first pitch fastball was nasty. That was nasty.
Yeah.
You're slightly ahead of me. I haven't seen the first pitch thrown yet. We're still watching Schlittler do his dance. Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Boy's fired up. That young buck's got ice water in his veins. We'll be like, all right, boys, let's catch this. Come on.
It's so funny to me, the number of Yankees who were former Red Sox fans and the number of Red Sox who were former Yankees fans. It's just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Even their top prospect, Marcello Meyer, was a former Yankees fan.
Yeah, Schlittler, those first two pitches, that was pure gas.
Oh yeah, that was some good shit right
there. Oh man, you gotta love this. Both teams.
There's more energy. There's more energy in the stadium now than there was between game 1 and 2 combined.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. This is the one. I'm feeling it.
100-mile-per-hour sinker. My God.
He is just.
Are we staying on live for the game?
Excuse me?
Are we staying live for the game or?
Up to y'all. I mean, we're past an hour, but I don't think nobody's rushing on to do a show. I don't see any reason why not.
All right,
it's up to y'all.
I mean, either way. I mean.
The only thing is if we stay live, then we can't really get like too hype when things happen.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. We shouldn't stay live then.
Okay, yeah, good point. It got us a ring that Well, I'm glad you acknowledge now that it got you a ring, meaning you wouldn't have won that ring without it. And that all being said, we're going to go and do this. I'd love to stay live with you guys, but I think that anybody who watches this show knows reasons why we're not going to, because we want to do episode 87 next week. So we'll see you guys next week, hopefully to talk about an exciting Toronto series. We'll see y'all next week. Same Scoop time, same Scoop channel. Any final comments from either one of y'all?
You know what I'm going to say, and I think we're already doing it. Try locking in.
Oh, yeah. And I still want to do that damn TikTok idea that I told you about.
Got it.
And Brandon, to you real quick before we sign out.
Pretty simple. Let's go Yankees. Let's go, boys.
Go!
And I'll leave us with one quote from the greatest Eagles quarterback ever. We got to keep the main thing the main thing. Good night, everybody.